Hi, this is the little dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with the Dwarves, Blind. Now, I would like to clear up something I said in the ending of the last episode, because I didn't have time by then, and I really think it's important to make my thoughts clear on the matter. So, from what I've said, because I've said I don't think in real life we'll ever reach a 50-50 female to male split in the military, nor that we should. And I realized just after I said it and ended the episode that it makes it sound like I'm prejudiced against the idea of women joining the military, which is not at all true. And I would like to explain myself. What I am, I guess, against is the idea of enforced gender parities, like of enforcing gender parities by law and having like a certain percentage of a certain group or of a certain occupation having to be women or men or whatever. And I guess especially so for the military, because what I meant is I don't think we'll ever get there, because the military specifically is an occupation that seems to be sort of naturally lopsided against women, because obviously it's very physical in nature. Being a soldier requires you to be very fit and strong. On average, an average woman is just physically weaker than an average man. That's simply a fact of nature. So on average, being a soldier is something that would attract more men. Because what I'm also against is like lowering the standards of a given occupation or like giving additional like recruitation points or something to a particular like social group or like to women specifically, because it seems like a very bad idea in general, but doubly so for the military, because obviously in a life or death situation, if you aren't strong or fit enough, or confident enough, you can lead to the death of not only yourself, but presumably all of your squad, or maybe even, potentially hundreds of other people in a critical moment of like a battle or something. So what I meant is, I'm totally for the idea of women being allowed to join the military. I think if they want to do it, that's super cool and all the power to them. And if they meet all of the standards, all of the minimum requirements that are set to join the military, then let them do it. And if at any point, for whatever reason, it legitimately would come to the point where it would be a 50-50 split or whatever else it could be, then I am totally okay with that. I have absolutely no problem with that. What I have a problem with is like a forced gender parity, or like easing the standards for women specifically, for them to join in greater numbers in a given occupation, because I think it's generally unfair. I am against it in principle, but I am also against it in terms of practical reasoning, because I think it's pointless if you give someone who does not qualify, if you give him access to a job simply on the basis of him being a part of a marginalized group or something. Then he will ultimately fail because he didn't have the proper qualifications to begin with. And in the end, I feel like that's potentially even more... that's going to work against the given group. Because, for example, if you let a lot of women join the military without having gone through the proper process, and then they fail in service because of that, then a lot of people are going to see it as an argument against letting women join the military in general, which I disagree with. I think they should be allowed to do whatever they want, provided they can actually qualify for that. So, yeah, that was my point. I am not at all against women joining the military, and even I am not against any kind of composition as far as percentages go, as long as the given candidate, be he a man or a woman, meets the proper qualifications for a given position. What I am against is forced gender parity, by law, to assign a certain percentage of places to a given social group, for example, simply on the supposed merit of them being a part of a marginalized group. So yeah, there is that. Having explained all that, let me continue, because I think I still have a lot of companions to talk to. For example, here is Giralda.
Giralda looks depressed.
Well, I think she always kind of looks depressed, and she also seems to be addicted.
You look like something's bothering you.
It's just... they avoid me. You're the only one who talks to me.
Yeah, well, you did try to kill us when we first met you.
Right?
Giralda gives a wry smile.
Not exactly the best of first impressions, right?
You're not a bad person, Giralda. Just give them some time.
Well, actually, I'm not sure if she's not a bad person. I haven't learned that much about her personality, apart from the fact that she tried to kill me the first time she saw me, which is not a particularly great first impression.
You said you wanted to join the Free Folk. What do you know about them?
To be honest, I don't know very much at all. It is said they are like a kingdom, just without a kingdom. No clans, no obligations and traditions, no repressive expectations. Just dwarves living together.
And where do I find them?
Well, everywhere. And nowhere. They hide. I think I almost found one of their cities. I don't know anymore.
See you later.
Okay. Let's continue. It seems the dwarves of the Firstling clan use mushrooms as a decorative plant, which I guess makes a lot of sense, because you would need something that doesn't require light. Obviously, there's no sunlight under the mountain. So if they wanted vegetation at all, it would have to be something that can thrive even in the dark. Okay, that's Rodario and Furgas, but before I talk with them, I guess let me go this way.
Narmora, may I speak with you? I was wondering how you ended up being an actress with Rodario and Furgas.
I have seen many places and done many things that I would like to forget. For a long time I didn't know what to do with my life. But then I met Furgas. There are no secrets between us. I have never had to pretend with him. He introduced me to Rodario, and I feared the worst, but he was delighted. He immediately wrote me into a new play.
That sounds like Rodario. Your parents... relationships between humans and Alfar is uncommon.
My mother brought me up on her own. I don't know what happened to my father.
You look at her compassionately. Narmora notices your expression and shrugs her shoulders.
I never knew him, so I don't miss him.
You don't believe her. You never got to know your parents either, but you still miss them even though Lot Yonan raised you.
I wonder if her father raped her mother. Also, I kind of wonder what's the probability of her father being Synthras? That would be a twist, I guess. I'm not particularly sure if that would be a good twist, but it would be a twist.
This might be a strange question, but do you sometimes wish...
That I wasn't half elf? Of course I've thought about it. But what's the point? This is how I was born, how I am, and it's something I can't change. And well, perhaps it might now serve some benefit for the first time. My heritage could be the key to saving Girdlegard.
See you later.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that. I've already talked about that in the previous episode, how I believe it is a red herring. And because it doesn't make sense for me that the ancient dwarves devised a weapon that requires to be wielded by the enemies of the dwarves to be effective. So I think what's actually happening is that this weapon was forged by the thirdlings, and it is reported in the chronicles as being wielded by an enemy of the dwarves, because the rest of the dwarven clans hate the thirdlings and see them as enemies and traitors and kinslayers. And also, with the thirdlings being mostly dedicated to warfare, as I said, it would make a lot of sense for them to want to have an ultimate weapon of sorts. But where is Boindal and Boindil? Because here's Rodario and Furgas.
It is simply legendary. No, it is mythical. We definitely need a large theatre so we can convey the impression of this grandeur to the spectators.
It's going to be difficult, but we'll manage it. But it will be more expensive.
It would appear you like it here.
Ha! Like it? It is fabulous. I almost feel like giving up. Not even the best of illusions could possibly imitate this. But say, what brings you to us, Tungdil?
Every step from here on is more dangerous than the last. Are you sure you want to continue on our journey with us?
Of course. Every story needs an end. What kind of play would it be without a third act?
There is no way I'm going to let Narmora ride into battle on her own. I will be there to assist her.
And how is your new play coming along?
Good, very good. The band of adventurers who set off to defeat Nodon, aided by the Queen of the Dwarves from the Kingdom of the Firstlings. It's going to be a real challenge to present this story in all its greatness.
Do you already have a title?
I haven't decided for sure yet, but at the moment I'm thinking along the lines of the heroic dwarves and their loyal companions who opposed Nodon despite all the challenges to destroy him and save Girdlegard.
That's a horrible title, but I'm not sure. Maybe he knows that, and that's the joke.
Why didn't you say that Narmora is half-elf?
If our spectators knew, they would run away screaming. So I'm sure you'll understand that we couldn't tell a group of armed dwarves either.
You have to admit that you don't know how you would have reacted if Narmora had revealed herself in Mifadania. Fear and hatred of the Alpha is deeply rooted.
You already know her, Tungdil. She has skills, but her lineage does not determine how she thinks and acts. She is the love of my life, and I would go crazy if I were to lose her.
I must go. Rest now.
Rest? Haven't you seen? There are machines that keep the whole city alive. I must take a look.
Yeah, but I would like to find Boindal and Boindil. Oh, sick room, right. He's at the healer.
Tungdil.
How is he?
He's lost a hell of a lot of blood.
The crazy glint in Boindil's eyes has given way to serious concern.
I'm doing fine. You must rest, brother. Stay on your back so the wounds can heal. Fortunately, he hasn't lost his pig-headedness. As long as he has that, he'll come through.
Boindil forces a grin, but you can imagine what he's really thinking and feeling.
I thought Andokai was going to look after him. Didn't her magic help?
We don't want her help. Magic is no use. And we certainly don't want anything to do with Samerson.
You know there is no point arguing with the twins about magic. There is too much of a fine line between conviction and stubbornness. Boindal would rather die than be healed by the Maga.
Well, that's kind of... Like, I understand to a point his distrust of magic because it's deeply culturally rooted in him being a dwarf, but it's kind of pointless because, let me rephrase that, not pointless, it's kind of like short-sighted.
We'll have to go on without him.
Oh,
he won't manage more than 100 paces without dropping down dead the state he's in.
No! I'll manage, Scholar. Just give me 2 orbits, then I'll be fine. It's just a scratch.
Boindal tries to stand up, but he doesn't have the strength. You shake your head.
Stay here and recover, Boindal. We'll meet you again in time for the big battle against Nodon. You have done your bit.
But where one of us is, the other is too. It is the greatest deed that has ever been carried out by our people. Oh. It would seem you are right, Scholar.
We'll be separated for the first time in our lives. I will miss you by my side in battle. The first 100 runts will be for you.
You will have to protect him and the others on your own now, brother. Don't take on too much, and rein in your frenzy. You must control your anger better than you usually do. Promise me.
I promise.
Tears run down the bearded cheeks of the 2 twins. They have never had to part like this before.
It's kind of short-sighted and a little bit stupid of him to refuse to be healed by magic, because from what I've seen, at least if you can take the gameplay, kind of at face value, healing magic is really powerful. So maybe if he allowed Andokai to heal him, he would have been able to go with me. And as is, he's going to spend probably weeks or even months healing naturally. And in this time, he won't be able to contribute in any way to our fight. So, the point is, he himself will resent himself for that. So he could have saved himself all of that trouble if he just agreed to be healed by magic. But oh well, that's his decision, I guess. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go back to the Queen then. And generally be on my way.
I've gathered all of the metal we need for Keenfire. I'm ready to depart.
You nod and then look her solemnly in the eyes.
Once we set off, stay in the background, keep out of fights, and avoid all danger.
The female dwarf's expression darkens.
Shall we engage in a trial fight, Mr. Dwarf?
No, Bifracus. I know that female dwarves can fight. It's because of the axe. You're the only one who can forge it. If something happens to you, we won't be able to stop Nodon.
The face of the smith relaxes, and then a smile appears on her lips.
I can look after myself.
Greetings, Queen Zamtis.
The Queen bows her head slightly, prompting you to speak.
Is everything ready for our journey to the Kingdom of the Fiflings?
We have provided wagons for you and your companions. Are your preparations complete?
Yes, we are ready.
The Queen nods slowly.
Rally your companions. I will march east with my host, but don't be misled. The fate of the perished land is in your hands, not mine. May you succeed and return unhurt. Vrakas be with you.
The plains of Tabain are the most fertile in Girdlegard, and rightly give the kingdom its nickname of the breadbasket. The east of the land has been in revolt since the perished land advanced, and the peace seems to have broken in the heartland too, as a group of strangers crawl out of a hole in the ground.
Why don't we just look for a tunnel that hasn't collapsed?
And what if we don't find one? If we're overground, we at least know that there's a way, even if it's dangerous. Let's go.
Okay, let's go to the tavern, because I would like to buy some provisions.
Rudeka is, contrary to what the name suggests, a large city. If Rodario is to be believed, more than 70,000 people live here, a number that you find it hard to even imagine. But while you walk through the streets, you don't doubt that it's the truth. Never before have you seen such huge masses of people.
If we are looking for somewhere to quench our thirst or for a roof over our heads, then I would recommend the Golden Well Tavern. And we can find everything we need for the rest of our journey at the big market. Just say where you want to go, Tungdil, and I'll show you the way.
You follow Rodario through the lively streets until he reaches a run-down two-story building. You hope that this dump isn't the tavern that Rodario recommends. You prepare yourself for the worst, but the inside of the tavern surprises you all. The walls are clad with dark, finely ornamented wood. The floor is clean, the tables are weighed down with good food, and a hot fire is burning in the fireplace. One should never judge a book by its cover. The guests look you over, full of curiosity, and many nod a greeting. The haggard woman behind the bar greets you loudly.
Rodario, you old rogue! What are you doing here? And you've got dwarves with you! I don't see one my whole life and then several come along in the same month.
We are on an important mission, Madame Flori, and could do with a place to stay the night.
Rodario introduces you and negotiates a good price for a few beds and a night's lodgings.
Sorry for asking, but you said you'd seen some other dwarves recently.
You're thinking of Gandagar's group and wonder whether they might have reached the kingdom of the Fifthlings already.
Yes, a nice bloke from the west. Paid for his room for a month in advance and then disappeared. Travelling lights.
The landlady's expression darkens.
That was 3 weeks ago. If he doesn't come back soon, I'll have to release the room.
Okay, this is kind of tempting. It's a rather it's rather dishonorable, but because maybe I'll learn some clues about what they are planning to do, or especially if the jewel smith is a traitor, because there is definitely a possibility that he was sent to me as a spy / traitor to backstab me in the last possible moment.
You give Narmora a sign and sneak onto the first floor. The half-elf appears moments later. To your surprise, she has Balandis with her, who must have caught something of what was said.
I want to know who the dwarf who is sneaking around here is. Perhaps he belongs to Gandagar's group.
After apologizing to various guests for intruding, you are left with just one untried door. Narmora picks the lock, and you enter the room unseen. The room is bigger than all the rooms in the tavern you have seen so far, and all just for one guest. There are maps, various pieces of notepaper, and 3 notebooks on the table. The notes are partly written in Dwarvish, and partly in the language of humans. The 3 of you scan through them, until Balandis draws your attention to a map. on which the route from the kingdom of the firstlings to the kingdom of the fifthlings is marked.
What would make a firstling travel to the perished land, or even to the kingdom of the fifthlings?
You believe you've found an explanation.
Here, this letter. I have found a way, but I don't know if I will return safely with Star Slasher. That's why I leave to you, dear Barris, my notes, may you, and so on.
Star Slasher?
You have come across this name in the notes a few times already, but you just shrug your shoulders and throw the letter back onto the table in disappointment. You had hoped to have found out some news on the whereabouts of the other group.
A sword. Apparently it was given to Giselbert I and I by a caravan travelling from the other lands. It seems we're dealing with a treasure hunter.
The big market at the city's south gate certainly lives up to its name. You have never seen a market on such a scale. Stands, large and small, as far as the eye can see. Everything you could possibly need can be found here, as well as plenty of things that seem to have no use at all. While you push your way through the crowd to get to the trader Rodario wants to introduce to you, you overhear two peasants talking about elves.
No, I tell ya, it was elves. Pale skin, pointy ears.
Yeah, something strange is going on these days. Old Trundlewood from down Acrehill way said he saw some pointy ears too. Come to think of it, where's he been all week?
Here we are.
Rodario's sudden announcement draws your attention away from the locals, to the tent that you're now standing in front of.
Welcome to Brand's Potpourri. Whatever your heart may desire, I can supply.
Okay, I'm definitely buying all of the provisions. Okay, I would like to save at least 1,000 gold, because some expenses might come up I'm not able to yet foresee. So I think that's enough. And I guess let's continue onwards north.
You are woken with a jolt in the middle of the night by a blood-curdling scream. You look around in panic and see that the others have been woken too, but only Giralda has beads of sweat on her brow. She's breathing heavily. Concerned, you go over to her.
I can remember. The Alfar. They are doing experiments on the children of the Smith. We have to save them.
Alpha? Experiments? What are you talking about?
I can remember everything. Or at least some of it. I know that I was taken prisoner by the Alfar, along with other dwarfs. They experimented on us, and I somehow escaped.
Where was this exactly?
They are here, nearby. It was a village, I think.
An Alfar village in Tabain? Doesn't sound very likely.
Okay, I definitely think I should help them. Because, you know, first of all, that's pretty atrocious that they are being experimented upon. But second of all, for whatever reason they are doing that, if they want to like produce an army of slaves that can control minds, because she can, then I really think that even from a practical standpoint, they should be stopped.
By Vracus, if the Alpha are experimenting on dwarves, we can't just ignore it. We have to free the prisoners. We can't save the world if we ignore the suffering right in front of our eyes. We will help Giralda.
Boindal and the others accept your decision. Giralda nods at you gratefully.
But where is that place, though? Somewhere nearby. Well, that's not particularly helpful, let me tell you that. Well, I guess I will follow to the 2 question marks, and if there's nothing at them, then I will go around a little bit.
When you reach Acre Hill, there isn't a single villager in sight. An uneasy feeling creeps over you, which finally turns into certainty when you see red paintings on the walls of the houses.
Alpha.
As expected, you don't find any survivors, but there are also no undead. The perished land has not yet advanced this far. You discover some footprints on the northern edge of the village.
It was orcs. Looks as though they waited here while the point ears wreaked havoc in the village. It seems like they moved on towards the north.
The pictures, painted in blood, tell the horrifying story of how the Alfar came to the village and killed the inhabitants. You also find a few elaborately carved bones, some larger ones, like those of humans, some smaller and stronger, like those of dwarves. When you reach the other end of the village, disgust is written in the faces of your companions. None of you says a word. You gather all the bones you can find together and burn them. You wash over the paintings with water from the well. You weren't able to prevent this gruesome incident, but you don't want to leave a single trace of it behind.
Okay.
You walk through the villages that once blossomed, but are now deserted due to the advance of the parish land. The colour has drained away from the wood of many of the houses, just as it has from the countryside itself. A carpet of withered plants rustles and crackles under your feet. You don't know if the perished land can ever be driven away again, and even if it can, it is questionable whether people will ever live here again. You sigh, and try to drive these dark thoughts away from your mind.
Ooh, do you smell that? Come! Oink, oink!
Without even waiting for you, Boindil runs over the hill and disappears behind it. You follow him, and as you reach the brow, you see a very strange scene before you.
I told you you shouldn't touch them.
But I was hungry.
Okay, I'm taking him. And I'm taking Andokai because she's pretty overpowered, to be entirely honest. I guess I'll give Jeroen a try as well.
Yes?
If I have to.
Feel my power!
Uh-huh.
And what now?
Yes?
What is it?
Okay, it's difficult
Not a bad idea.
to position
If I
her
have to.
in such a way that I don't target any of my own companions.
Huh? Understood. On my way. End it! At once. Understood.
They hardly put up a fight. Yes, yes!
Yes?
Huh?
What a waste of time. Now you've got me interested. With pleasure.
And what now?
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Yes, yes, so!
Uh-huh. Vile creature! On my way.
What a waste of time. And I didn't even take off my gloves. No chance.
Kill! And again. Kill.
We should have put a potion
Huh?
on Jeroen.
Yes? Huh?
What is it? All right then.
I need help over here, quickly. They're hitting me pretty hard.
I'm not sure why sometimes
you've
potions
got me
seems to
interested.
have no effect.
He hardly put up a fight.
Yes?
And what now?
What
I
is
need
it?
help over here, quickly.
From time to time,
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
I use a potion.
Others
Frick,
will take my
frick!
place.
Just letting me die over here?
I killed myself.
Not a bad
That's
idea.
poorly realized.
What is it? Ow! Hey!
Okay, that's the end.
Oink, oink, little piggies! Who's next? He cheated!
Where's the potion? No. Okay.
I'm with you. Markus! Yes?
He hardly put up a fight!
At once. On my way. Understood.
What is it?
Huh? Yes, yes! Ha ha!
Uh-huh.
I have Boindal! Give me a hand! I'm with you!
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Oink, oink, little piggies! Oink, oink, little piggies!
And again.
And what now?
Hmm?
Who's next?
With pleasure.
Huh? Oink, oink,
What a
little
waste of
piggies!
Huh? End it. At once. Understood. Attack! Kill!
Who's next? What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies! And what now?
No chance.
Come
Feel
here,
my
you.
power.
And again.
If I have to.
Uh-huh. On my way.
What is it?
Kill! And again.
What a waste of time.
What is it?
No chance.
He hardly put up
What
a
a
fight.
waste of time.
Kill! Yes? End it! Vile creature!
No chance. Not a bad idea. With pleasure.
And what now? He hardly put up a fight.
Okay, this potion simply doesn't work.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
And I don't understand why.
Oink, oink, little piggies! I'm not that quick.
Huh?
Not a bad idea.
Huh? Yes, on my way.
Now you've got me interested.
Vile creature!
All right then.
Kill!
He hardly put up a fight.
For Vracus!
Okay, the orcs are almost
Who's
dead.
next?
So then it's just the undead
Yes?
we have to worry
This
about.
is going to hurt.
I'm
If I
with
have
you.
to. What is it?
Uh-huh. Kill!
What is it?
And again!
Oink, oink, little piggies! I'm not that quick.
Huh? For
He
Vracus!
hardly put up a
Vile
fight.
creature!
And what now?
Yes? Attack!
Now you've got me interested. All right then. If I have to. Feel my power!
Kill. And again!
What a waste of time.
I'm with you.
Kill!
Huzzah!
Vile creature!
The chaotic battle between the orcs, the undead, and you comes to the best possible conclusion. No one else is standing but you. You decide to have a little look around.
Okay, some cages, but they are all empty.
You tremble at the thought that you could end up the same way. You hope that one of your companions would have sympathy with you if you were to die in the Perish Land. The closer you get to the murky pool, the worse it stinks of decay and death. At first you thought it was only dirty water, but for as much as you can make out through the gloom, it seems almost black and has wondrous streaks.
Oh, there is a map.
It's a map of the surroundings. Not far from your current position is a place clearly marked with a red cross. Is it another orc camp, or even the Alfar camp? You mark the place on your own map.
Okay, that's great, because that might be where they are conducting the experiments, and I would very much like to stop them.
With the probable location of another camp up your sleeve, you continue on your way.
Well, wait. This guy's armament is rather ridiculous. I didn't even have that great of a look at it, because obviously I didn't use him in a fight. But he has this huge shield, and then this little dagger, I guess it's supposed to be a statement about his general personality, because he seems a little cowardly. Oh, train healing, definitely. Definitely taking that. Mighty March. He fights a path through his enemies, causing lots of damage to everyone in his way. Enemies receive lots of damage and then they panic. Okay, this is also potentially cool. So I guess this is the enemy camp.
Some way from the path, you come across an old campsite between some rocks. A trampled out campfire and scattered belongings, papers, bottles and a necklace, suggests that the traveller either had to flee in a hurry or was abducted.
That is a firstling necklace. I recognise the emblem. It belongs to the clan of the Roughblades.
We only know of one firstling out so far west these days, the dwarf whose notes we found in the tavern.
Star Slasher. If King Giselbert really did wield this sword, it would be an unbelievably valuable artifact. Just imagine if the sword really existed.
It's not worth losing your life for, or, in the worst case, losing your life and then rising again.
You look around again more closely, but there's not much here that could help you. The ground is too hard for footprints, and the objects that have been left behind could have come from any old dwarf trader.
Do you know anything about the Rough Blades, Balandis?
Every firstling knows of the clan. They have a long tradition as weaponsmiths, though their work is often exotic and sometimes thought of as undwarfish. They experiment a lot with blade shapes and hilt lengths. Their weapons are easy to recognise.
Sounds as though someone from a clan like that would definitely be very interested in a legendary sword.
Giralda struggles to keep pace all day, and when you see her struggling, you give the order to set up camp for the night earlier than usual.
Are you all right?
The female dwarf looks ill, and as she's aware of the fact, she doesn't even try to make excuses.
The potion! It's finished! I need more of it!
She looks at you imploringly, as if you could help her. Over the next few days, Giralda's condition grows increasingly worse. She begins to shiver, and more than once you catch her muttering to herself and glancing at Andokai surreptitiously. The Mager claims she does not know what kind of potion it is and why Giralda might need it. You believe her, but you also notice that Andokai doesn't really seem interested in finding a solution to the problem either. You reach the place that was marked on the orcs' map, and judging by the site you are presented with, there is no doubt. This is where the Alfar did their experiments.
Dwarves! Oh, how glad I am to finally see members of my own race again. How glad I am to see anyone at all who doesn't want to kill me.
We're here to save you. We've heard that Alfar are experimenting on dwarves. Where are the others?
I am the last one.
There's me too.
You? Ah, so you escaped. Oh, I should have known it.
You and Giralda, you know each other?
She was already here when I arrived. The Alpha did experiments on her. They fed her with a tincture from this device, and then it was as if she was a doll. She had to follow their orders. They trained her in battle, and she could do Alpha magic. I swear it. But the last time, something was different. She fought against the orders of the Alpha, beheaded one of them in the end. She set me and the other prisoners free and ran away in the chaos. The Alpha recaptured all of us, apart from her.
Where are the Alpha? Oh, forget it.
Okay, I'm taking the same party as the last time. It was overall pretty effective.
Huh? At once. End it!
What is it? Yes, yes!
No chance.
Kill! I'm with you! I'm not that quick!
Uh-huh.
Okay, that was a pretty powerful blow.
Huzzah! Yes, yes! So!
And again!
Hmm?
Huh? Huzzah! Ha ha! Who's next?
What is it?
Vile creature!
With pleasure.
Okay, I would like to kill the horse, just because I'm not sure if it regenerates or something. Not to mention, presumably he can use it later on to escape upon it.
Alright then. And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Killed! And again!
I guess she's more of a she, but the point is still the same.
What is it?
Okay, that was a mistake. I wasn't expecting so many additional enemies. I guess he will have to hold on in here until we can rejoin him.
What a waste of time.
Vile creature!
Not a bad idea.
Understood.
If I have to.
Huh? Huh?
Ha ha!
Now you've got me interested.
And what now?
Yes? On my way.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Understood. Markus!
What a waste of time. What is it?
Huh?
Who's
And
next?
I didn't even take off my gloves.
Okay, I think we're doing okay.
Huh? At once. Attack!
Now you've got me interested. And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Come here, you!
I was hoping never to see a single Shadowmare again after Greenglade.
Good job, there was two of them then! Ha!
Let's have a look around. Maybe there are more survivors, or we might find out something about the potion that Giralda needs. The danger is over. Once and for all.
Now the horror finally comes to an end.
A rucksack containing everything needed for a few days in the wilderness and an exotic-looking sword. A rucksack containing...
So he did find it. Why can't I ask him about it?
The elf has been beheaded. He is dead, and even the perished land won't be able to make him rise again.
Oh, that's him. I remember now. He forced me to drink a potion. That's what gave me my powers. I killed him and ran away.
On closer inspection, you see a small rolled-up note in the elf's hand.
A recipe. If I had to guess, probably for Giralda's potion.
To be honest, I'm not sure if that's such a great idea for her to even keep drinking that.
The containers are filled with blood, but it seems thinner and smells sweeter than it should. Presumably the Alfar have done something with it, either for their potions or to use it as paint.
Because I don't know if she is just addicted to it, or does she need it to survive? Because I feel like that's a very important distinction. Obviously, if her life depends on it, then, you know, I guess I should give it to her. But if she just needs it because she's addicted to it, then I think it would be wiser if she tried to, overcome it. And presumably by the if she suffered through the initial withdrawal, it would get easier over time, because we don't even exactly know what it does. It might be messing her up.
You have no idea what to do with the various devices and ingredients, but it should be easy for Andokai, as an experienced mager and alchemist, to brew Giralda's potion. You don't wish to spend the night amongst the dead, so you set up camp a little way off. You decipher the recipe for Giralda's potion together with Andokai and Narmora.
All in all, the equipment and the process is not hard to understand, despite being a little strange. And the ingredients take some getting used to, even for me. This black water and elf blood, for example.
Is this what gives Giralda her powers?
Andokai nods.
It gives her powers and makes her dangerous. What will she do if the potion runs out and she is driven to madness by thirst? She could force me to brew more and more of the potion for her and find a way to supply the elf blood that is needed for it.
Andokai's gaze pierces you.
I can mix a poison that looks just like her potion. She trusts you, Tungdil. If you give it to her, she will drink it, and we will remove an uncontrollable danger from Girdlegard.
Wait, but is she talking about poison? No. No. If you don't want to... Because I do understand her argument. To be honest, I do even agree with her argument. I think we should try to convince Giralda that she should try to stay off of the potion and maybe overcome the addiction over time, even if that would require her to leave the group and rest or something, check herself into a facility like a temple. Maybe there are priests that help addicts, because presumably there are narcotics in this universe of some kind, and even if not, surely there are hardcore alcoholics. But I'm not about to murder her. I'm kind of annoyed that there is no third option of just don't give her anything.
That would still be murder. No matter how great a danger she may present, she didn't choose her powers and deserves to live.
Andokai shakes her head in disappointment, but to your surprise, gets to work without another word. After 2 hours, Andokai comes to you and holds out 2 files that look exactly like Giralda's.
I stick by my opinion, Tungdil. You must recognize how great the danger is. The file on the left is the potion. In the other is the poison.
Andokai gives you the 2 files.
Decide wisely.
Before you can say anything, she has already turned away and is marching at a swift pace towards Jiroon.
Tungdil, is the potion ready?
You only just managed to hide the files from Giralda.
I'm not about to poison her. I think it is a mistake to feed into her addiction, and I would prefer if the game gave me an option not to. But it is straight up evil, not even a mistake. It is straight up wrong to kill her.
Yes, here is the potion.
You give Giralda the real potion, and she takes several large swigs.
Thank you, Tongdil. What would I do without... Ugh. What is that? It's burning. You've poisoned me.
You stare at the second phial in your hand, and then at the face of the dwarf, contorted in pain. With a final pain-stricken scream, Giralda collapses in front of you. As the others rush over, you are still standing there, frozen in shock.
She's dead. Take her away.
Without worrying about the objections of the others, Jeroen follows her order. Andokai grabs your shoulder and pulls you aside.
So you gave her the potion? I thought you would.
You swapped them, how could you?
You feel deceived, and anger boils inside you.
Be aware of who you're talking to, Tongdil Goldhand. We may be travelling together, but I am still one of the 6. I have ruled over my realm for many years and made many difficult decisions. This was not one of them. She was a product of Alpha experiments and could have become as great a danger to Girdlegard as not on.
But perhaps we could have...
You think you can see a hint of sympathy in the Mager's face, but without another word she leaves you where you're standing. For the first time in a long while, you feel just like the stupid, naive Smith who left the cozy vaults in Yonandar so long ago.
Okay, this is bullshit, and to be honest, I would like to throw Andokai out of the group for that, if not kill her. Like, maybe killing her would be overkill, but what she did is majorly wrong on like a number of counts, because even if disregarding whether killing Giralda was wrong, which I think it was, because she could have become a danger to Girdlegard, is a bullshit argument. It's not an argument at all, in fact, because could have is we all could become danger to, like, every one of us could turn criminal in some point of our lives. Like, every one of us could have a nervous breakdown. Every one of us could something. That's bullshit argument. That means nothing. But even disregarding that, what she did, the fact that she tricked me, she didn't tell me the truth, and she used me, it totally breaks any kind of trust between us. And I wouldn't like... I'm annoyed. I'm very much annoyed. I'm not annoyed at the game for making this scenario happen, because I think it's very interesting and kind of cool. It tells you something about what kind of a person Andokai is. But what I am annoyed at is the game doesn't give me the option to be thoroughly outraged by what she did and throwing her out of the party, because that's what I would have done. I think she overstepped her boundaries in like a major way, and she should be punished for it, whereas the game seems to imply that we just ignore what she did and carry on regardless. And I feel that's bullshit, and I don't agree with that one bit. But anyway, this episode has been more than long enough, so I'm going to save and actually end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.